Zacks Rank Buys, stocks with a short-term buy or strong buy recommendation. Now, here are more Zacks Rank Buys. If you wanted to hear about some aggressive growth stocks, you've come to the right place, because Bill Wilton, our aggressive growth stock analyst at Zacks.com, has another couple of stock pick ideas for you to consider. A couple of companies here that he's written about recently. American Superconductor Corporation, AMSC, the ticker symbol. They're working in the electric infrastructure. So does that mean the power grid?
Yeah, what they actually do is, renewable energy has been a big buzzword for the past couple of years. Everyone wants to go green. And what they actually do is they integrate various sources of renewable energy into the main power grid. So you see those wind turbines, solar panels, things like that. They need some way to convert that energy and channel it into the power grid. So that's what their main business is. They've seen a huge spike in revenue. The last quarter, it was actually up 85% to almost $75 million, which is fantastic for them. The other thing that they've been doing is their gross margin has improved dramatically. It's actually up to almost 39%, and that's from 26.5%. So it's when you see those margins improve that much, that's fantastic, because that's just more money going to the bottom line, and that's exactly what you want to see, especially in a lot of these aggressive growth companies.
Yep.
The last earnings announcement, when they saw that huge spike in revenue, they reported 11 cents earnings per share, which was more than double the 5 cents that the Zacks consensus estimate was pegged at heading into that announcement. As you can imagine, they do have a bullish outlook going forward. Their CEO sees a lot of growth coming down the pike, so things are going well for them. One thing that is unfortunate is they did slip to a number 3 since I wrote about them. But that's not too big of a concern here, because their earnings announcement was back in October. Usually it's those fresh earnings reports and fresh estimates that get the most attention from the Zacks rank. So we'll have to keep an eye out for a few more earnings estimates and their next quarterly report.
All right, and if you want to point a reference on that slippage that Bill talked about, Bill wrote about this company originally on the 4th of December. And this is now the 8th of December that we're taping this on.
Yeah, and you can see that it was actually on this slide the day after I wrote about them. They slipped to a number 3 on the 5th. So how's that?
Good work, Bill.
How's that for timing? But here you can see I put together a chart of their annual consensus estimates, and you can see just how fast those estimates are rising, with the most recent line well above any estimates that they've seen before. So analysts are bullish, the CEO's bullish, things are looking very well for them.
All right, and then you wrote about, not that long ago, Micrus Endovascular Corporation, MEND, the ticker symbol. What impact has your writing had on this company?
Well, as far as my writing on them, who knows? I'd like to say a huge impact, but they're a lesser-known company. That what they do is they make disposable medical devices, specifically for the treatment of cerebral conditions.
That's what it says, yes.
Yep, it sure does.
I found that kind of interesting.
Well, their last quarterly report was on November 5th. They saw a net income of $3.6 million. That's a 33% increase over the prior year. Earnings were more than triple the Zacks consensus estimate at 22 cents. So we love seeing those huge surprises. Estimates are up. And actually, this stock is remaining a good value. Yes, the forward PE looks a bit inflated in the high 20s, but when you look at that PEG ratio, it really brings things into perspective. So you're getting that growth at a very reasonable price. Unlike the previous stock, this one is still a number 1, though.
All right.
One thing that you'll see on this chart here, given the recent results, you saw a nice jump from in the stock price from that earnings report in early November. Shares hit a bit of resistance, but as those estimates kept coming in, the shares were eventually able to break through that level of resistance. Actually, the day I wrote about it was the day that they broke through, so that was one of the reasons that I really liked them. And also, since then, they've been able to maintain that new level, so I'm looking for this former level of resistance to actually become a level of support, where the stocks can build a foundation and then continue up from there.
Okay. And, finding growth stocks has been kind of challenging this year, especially given what's been going on in the markets. But things seem to be looking up lately. So going into the new year here, is it going to be any easier to find growth picks?
Well, this year it was actually, starting about the middle of the year, it became quite a bit easier to find those growth stocks. One, because you don't necessarily need the year-over-year growth rates that a lot of people associate with growth stocks. One of the other good characteristics of an aggressive growth company is those upward earnings estimates. So, when you see the earnings estimates continue to rise and rise, that's also considered a growth company. So it may be down year over year like just about everybody was this year. So it wasn't too difficult, but it was difficult to find those positive year-over-year estimates. Going forward, it's going to be essentially a crapshoot because a lot of people are varying on how they see 2010 going. Some people are expecting us to stay in a range. Some people think we're up. Some people think we're down. So it depends on how those analyst estimates are going to be coming in
So we'll have
to really keep an eye on that. Yeah.
Individually, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Do you own either of these two?
I do not.
If you want to check out more Zach's Rank stock pick ideas, go to Zacks.com's homepage, and over in that upper right-hand corner is where we keep them all. 4 new ideas for you, one in each of the investment categories that we write about each day on Zacks.com. With Bill Wilton, I'm Terry Ruffalo.